Hey guys, it's Garth, how's it going? Welcome to the first in a series of tutorials on Reaper. Today, all we're going to do is look at how you get Reaper installed and how you make it more functional. And if you're wondering what Reaper is, it's a fantastic DAW, a digital audio workstation, a multi-track audio and MIDI editing program. Now there's a lot of different DAWs you can choose from. Why would you choose Reaper? Let me just cover a couple of quick things. Firstly, the price. It's around $60 US. You get a 60-day free trial period where it's fully functional. It's extremely flexible, powerful, and responsive. It's cross-platform, works on Mac or Windows. We're going to be looking at Reaper from the Mac perspective, but a lot of what you learn here will be able to be applied to Windows as well. From a CPU resource perspective, it's very efficient, and you can run it successfully on a low-spec machine. Now, if you're using VoiceOver on the Mac, or indeed NVDA on Windows, there's three different things you'll need to install. Reaper itself, and of course there'll be links in the show notes, but I'll quickly show you where you can download Reaper from.
Safari, Untitled, window. Google page has. Open location, Reaper.fm, insertion at end of text. Search or enter website.
Reaper.fm.
Reaper vertical line audio production without limits, web content. Reaper, audio production without limits page has.
Primarily, Reaper is an audio editor. However, its support for MIDI has come along dramatically over the last year or two. And if you are mostly sequencing and using MIDI as your method of production, then you'll find the support in Reaper now to be fantastic.
Heading not found.
No headings on this particular page, but I'm just going to use my item chooser.
Item chooser menu, down, 6 items.
Search for download.
Download Reaper version 5.40, March 24, 2017.
Click on that.
Download Reaper version 5.40, March 24, 2017.
Now, the licensing gives you updates over the next two major versions. So if you purchase during version 5, you'll have up through to the end of version 6 included in that price. And that's probably going to last you 2 to 3 years before you'll need to, purchase another license to continue receiving updates.
Item chooser menu.
Just going to search for OS X.
OS 10 32-bit, 5 items. OS 10 32-bit.
Okay. Now, for both Windows and Macintosh, there's 32 and 64-bit versions available. I'm using on the Mac the 64-bit, and if you are using MIDI and large instruments, I'd probably recommend you go with the 64-bit version.
OS 10 64-bit. Reaper v5 image DL_button.jpg.
And that's the one you want.
Press image.
So let that start to download. Now, as I mentioned earlier, there's three things you need to grab. Reaper.fm for Reaper itself. There's also an extension called Asara that you'll want to install. It's a plugin for Reaper that makes it accessible, and it's primarily written by Jamie Tays, one of the major contributors to NVDA. So let me show you how you grab that one as well. So I'm actually just going to search for it. Google's your friend. So Asara, OSARA, and I'm going to put Reaper in the search term there as well.
Asara Reaper, Google. Asara Reaper. Unsel search results. Heading. Visited. GitHub. Vaxis/Asara. OS.
That's the one you want. GitHub.
Press. Okay. Visited. GitHub. Vaxis/Asara. OSA.
And you'll see the NV access there, the makers of NVDA. So whether you're installing on Windows or Mac, you will also want to install Asara. And I'll jump through by headings here.
Vaxis. Readme.md. OSARA. Open source access.
Read the README, guys.
Requirements. Heading. Download and installation.
Download and installation. I'm just going to keep jumping by headings for a second.
Windows. Heading level 3.
Instructions on how to do it on Windows.
Mac. Heading level 3.
Instructions on how to do it on the Mac. Once again, read them, okay? I'm just going to jump back by link now.
OSARA development snapshots. Visited.
Asara development snapshots. That's where you actually want to go to download. So let me click on that.
Press. Visited. OSARA development snapshots page has 2 links. 1 heading. 1 auto web spot. OSARA development snapshots. Heading level 1. Included here are automatically generated snapshots of the project in its current state of development. This allows for testing of new code, but be warned that this is bleeding edge code. There will very possibly be nasty bugs and broken code, and we will not provide any support for this snapshot. Constructive feedback is nevertheless welcome. List 2 items. Bullet. Download OSARA 2016.1 pre-85 800 for Windows. Bullet. Download OSARA 2016.1 pre-49 800 for Mac. Okay,
now I'll let that read out because that sort of terminology can be a little bit intimidating for new users. This is where you want to be though, guys. So I'm just going to click on the Mac one.
Bullet. Download OSARA. Press.
The process at the moment is a little bit different from installing normal software, so I will quickly show you it as well. Now, the third thing I'd recommend you download is SWS, Standing Water Studios, I think it stands for. In any case, I'll show you where to download that one.
SWS/S and M extension, sws-extension.org.
Now, you can download the SWS extension from sws-extension.org.
Download Windows 32-bit, Windows 32-bit.
If you're installing on Windows, there is a 32 and 64-bit version, but if you're installing on the Mac, there's just a single download. So let's cross down to that one.
OS 10 Universal Binary, visited. Download, visited. For Reaper 32/64-bit v5.15 or above OS 10.10, visited. Down. Press.
So they're the 3 bits of software. Well, Reaper's the actual application, and then you have the 2 extensions, Asara and SWS. SWS basically improves the functionality of Reaper itself, and Asara adds the accessibility layer. Okay, now if you're on Windows, things are a little bit easier than they are on the Mac with the installation of the software that we've gone through. Simply go to these 3 sites, download the files and their executables. Run them, you're done. On the Mac though, it is a little bit more complicated, so we'll cover it in some more detail. Now, one more thing to be aware of on Windows is that often I've noticed instances where people have downloaded Asara from GitHub using Internet Explorer, and for some reason, it comes down as Asara_exe. So, Windows doesn't recognize it quite rightly as an executable. Simply add the .exe to the file and it will run normally. This seems to be an idiosyncrasy with downloading Asara from GitHub using Internet Explorer. If you're using Firefox or Chrome, we don't seem to see this issue. So with Reaper, it's a very straightforward, standard installation on the Mac. Open the DMG and copy the application into your applications folder. Easy as that. I've already got it there, obviously.
Asara _2016.134.
Now, next I'm going to install Asara. Once again, I have this installed, but the process is a little bit different, so I am going to quickly show it to you.
Open. System has new window.
So I'm opening the DMG.
OSARA 20. Copying .txt plain text document. Install OSARA extension .command terminal shell script.
Now you'll see this terminal shell script. Simply open this. It'll open terminal. It'll do what it needs to do. And after a few seconds, you can simply close the instance of terminal.
Replace existing key map with OSARA keymap.command.
Now there's another script there as well to replace the key map. Reaper's installed. Asara's installed.
SWSV 2.8.8.0.dmg. Disk image.
SWS. And once again with this one, it's a little bit different from normal, so I will show you.
Text. If you agree to the text, print, but save as, disagree, button, agree, button.
Agree.
Opening, SWSV 2. Reaper _SWS extension.ty.
With the SWS extension, maybe the easiest way to do it is if we open Reaper.
Spotlight. E-P. Reaper 6.4.
Reaper 6.4, it's a 64-bit version of Reaper. Okay, I'm going to jump up into the menu bar.
Menu bar, Apple.
Over to Options.
Options. Options, menu, preferences,
and
just
just
command
go
P.
up arrow once I've opened the menu.
Layouts, themes, customize menu, show Reaper resource path in Explorer /Finder ellipsis.
Show Reaper resource path in Finder.
Show Reaper resource path in Finder, Reaper, window, column view, browser, one item select.
Okay, so we're in our user library folder in application support and Reaper.
List
now,
items.
as I mentioned, this is a plugin. SWS is a plugin, so let me just tab back to...
Cycle through Windows, SWS extension, window, icon view.
Now,
Grooves folder, SWS
all we need to do is copy all of these files.
Reaper SW, user plugins alias.
Everything except the user plugins alias.
Reaper SWS SW Grooves folder, added to selection, 3 items selected. 6 items selected. Copy 6 items. Cycle through Windows, downloads, window, Reaper, window, column view, browser, 1 item selected. Rogue Amoeba, Reaper, full.
I'll go into here.
List 1 item selected, user plugins,
down to
folder.
user plugins.
Paste 6 items.
Paste
Copy.
the items in there.
Replace button. Stop button.
Now I've already got them done.
Stop button.
So I'm just going to stop that.
Press stop button.
So once again in review, if you jump into Reaper, into your menu bar and options, down to show the resource path, that'll open the Finder window within your user library. In your user library, you'll already be in application support.
Application support, folder, Reaper,
and
folder.
Focus will be on Reaper, arrow into Reaper and
user plugins,
down
folder.
to user plugins and paste the contents of the DMG into there. Okay. Now,
Reaper.
So as I mentioned, when you install Asara, you also install the key map, and easiest way to check if it's all worked properly is hit the up arrow.
No tracks.
Down arrow.
No tracks.
Okay. So I've got a project open and there's no tracks in it at the moment. At that point, you know Asara has been installed because your up and down arrows are doing what they're supposed to do. Now, let's check for SWS.
Menu bar, Apple.
Now, if you have it already opened, you may need to restart Reaper after copying the scripts across for SWS to show up. But if you go into your menu bar and to Extensions.
Edit Extensions. Extensions, Repack, submenu, About SWS Extension.
About SWS Extension. I think at that point we can be pretty sure that SWS is also installed. Okay, so really, in terms of getting Reaper installed, that's what you'll need to do on the Mac side. And the process is very similar on Windows. Read the documentation that comes with various bits and pieces. Now in the next tutorial, we'll quickly look at inserting some media and editing it. But today I just want to leave you with a couple of last things, and that's 2 different preferences that I'd suggest you change, and 2 or 3 keyboard shortcuts that you may find helpful moving forward. So preferences, Command P.
Reaper preferences, window, table.
So Reaper literally has thousands of preferences, which we're not going to cover in any kind of detail, but I just wanted to show you 2 quick things in here.
Table, row 1 of 37. General, in table, row 1, paths, levels.
Go to Paths.
Default path to save new projects.
So your default path to save new projects.
/user/Ionis/ browse, but default render path, if left empty, the current. Edit text, browse, button, default recording path.
All of these are ones you may want to make specific choices yourself, have a read of them and make your own choices. But one that I would recommend and might not be initially obvious.
Checked, store all peak caches, .reapex in alternate path.
That one.
Paths, checked, store all peak caches, .reapex in alternate path.
Okay. Check that box and set a destination for them. So when you insert a piece of audio into a Reaper project, it will also create a repeak file. And if you don't have this checked, it will drop that repeak file wherever you got your media from. So whether it be your iTunes library or a USB key or whatever, it'll just drop this extra file there. So you'll end up with all these little repeaks all over your system, which is really not fun. So check this box and set a destination for those files. You can safely delete those files after you've finished with them. Now, the other one quickly to be aware of.
The table,
back to our table.
37, in table, row, key project,
I'm just
expanded,
going to type in
2 items
for
in device, level 2.
So device.
Audio device. Scarlett 2i4 USB, pop.
So that's what I'm using myself. So this is a pop-up button. So which audio device do you want Reaper to be using? Now, when you run Reaper for the first time, I believe it'll get you to pick an audio device by default. So you'll probably will have already been here. And for now, that's all we're going to look at in preferences, remembering it was Command P to go in there. Now, as I mentioned, there's 2 other keystrokes I wanted to show you today. So F12.
Shortcut help on. Shortcut help off.
Is a toggle to put on shortcut help.
Shortcut help on.
So I hit Command P.
Options, preferences.
Opens our preferences. So when you have that toggled on, obviously you can hit whatever you like.
Show action list. OSARA, report current peak for channel 1 of current track. OSARA, report edit play cursor position. Start
mashing away at the keys and you'll find out what some of them do. Not a very efficient way to find a keystroke, but there are so many different actions that you can perform within Reaper that have keyboard shortcuts assigned. You can sometimes go, which one was it? Toggle on your F12, test it, yep, that's what I want, toggle it off and perform the action. I'll toggle that off and I'll show you one other one, which is
shortcut help off.
Action list, which is F4.
Actions, window, edit text, blank.
This will show you a list of all of the actions you can perform, and if they have a keyboard binding, the binding. So if you're looking to find something, there's a search field here that you can choose.
Clear button, edit text, blank.
So if I search for, well, preferences.
Clear button, find section, main, table, in table, row 1 of 12, shortcut description.
There's 12 different actions that contain the word preference.
Description, item, move to source preferred position, used by BWF.
Oh, I didn't type the whole word preference, so preferred as well as in here.
Item, open in built-in MIDI editor, set default behavior and preferences. Shortcut blank. Description, item, item, paste item / tracks, creating pooled, ghost, MIDI items regardless of preferences / media / MIDI settings. Options, preferences.
And there's the one we've
Shortcut,
got.
CMD+P.
CMD+P. From within this dialog, you can also, if I stop interacting here.
Shortcuts for table, row 1 of 1. CMD+P, selected, add, button.
Add a new shortcut extension. So if you want to add your own shortcut to some of the ones that are pre-existing, you can do that.
Custom actions, new, button.
There's a number of other things here that I'm not going to go through today.
Close,
Let's
button.
jump to the end and come back though.
Run, default, menu, import / export, button.
Import / export. Another option you have is to import a key map that someone else has done.
Import/export button.
Import/export, click on there.
Menu. Import ellipsis.
Okay. If you want to share your key map with somebody else.
Export selected items. Export all ellipsis.
Let's just jump out of this actions list dialog. So the couple of things you can do within the actions list is find actions by searching for them. You can check out what the specific keystroke is that is assigned to that. You can add your own, and you can import and export key maps. There's other things you can do in there that we're not going to cover today. In summary, we've installed the Reaper application. We've installed the 2 extensions, Asara and SWS. We've had a quick look at preferences and adjusted where our repick files are located so they don't get, dropped all over your system. Check audio in preferences to pick your device. F12 toggles on and off the keyboard help mode, and F4 to bring up your actions list from where you can assign keyboard shortcuts, check out what existing ones are. You can actually just use that actions list also to run a particular action. Say it's not one you want to assign a keyboard shortcut to, but you may want to use it every now and then. Open up your actions list, find the action, and run it from there as well. And also in the actions list, you can import and export different key maps. In our next tutorial, we'll look at adding some media to a Reaper track and discuss a little bit about the hierarchy of Reaper projects. These tutorials are not meant to give you a complete understanding of everything. It's really just a heads up. This is how you get started. Now, if you are wanting further Reaper training, I would highly recommend the courses from Cavi, C-A-V-I. Once again, the link will be in the show notes. Thanks again for listening, guys, and see you later.